Today, inside the program, we dey look inside the current security situation na the country. People remember say 1 year back, the country be experience violence na some parts them na the country, including Freetown, where police and civilian them be lost their life. 1 year down the line, August this year again, police don't they raise concern but the security concern. We said and say they don't suspect some people them we want sets ala again this August and self then suspect them say they want change president bill in government. We make inside today's edition of the program Good Morning Saloon. We look at the security situation at the country. For sake of that, I want to welcome inside the program Augustine Suri Sengbe Mara, activist, lawyer, and good governance advocates. Good morning and welcome to the program Good Morning Saloon.
Good morning, Saloon.
And also inside the program, I want to introduce Abdul Karim Will, Deputy Director. For somebody where they listen to you now, when I can categorize security situation by level. Quick one before we start the discussion. Who say we day in terms of security in the country?
Okay, thank you very much. Security level classifications they into 3 parts. We get level 1, 2, and 3. At level 1, it means everything normal. No known threats, no day to the security of the country. And things that were supposed to happen, then they happen. Schools and they run, studios and they perform them function like how they do so. People and they go to market, they the way for go school, they go school, and so on and so forth. At level 2, we get a degenerating situation. Something they substantially threaten the peace and security of the country. For the longest time, most of the 10-year-old don't go into level 2 of a security situation now on health-related matters. For example, during the Ebola disease, we will go at level 2 at the level of health consideration. In 2019, after we get the coronavirus, we will also go into that level there. At level 3, now we not know the function in terms of governance, in terms of waiting for happen for the security of the country, like nobody know they in charge. Then kind of situation let me obtain during the country in civil war. But for the longest time, apart from the health emergency challenges we don't get, we don't be at level 1, and then at the level we still there in terms of a security classification. We expect that they will go for be the case for the longest time, because by the level of security assessment, the threat assessment we don't conduct over the period, the country relatively peaceful. Relatively peaceful no means concerns and all the things and all they happen. Then some of them things they happen things that we common with societies. You say people and you'd expect divergence of opinions and people and get different views and get a different way how they do things and that kind of thing, which is very important. Now we ability as a people, we ability as the structures where they exist for response to some of them challenges and they very, very critical. On we concerns currently, several things in the way we're concerned about, but particularly the misuse of social media. During elections, they just concluded elections. Social media will play quite a significant role for almost throw spanners into all of the good efforts, where people can use this platform extensively for send misinformation, for make propaganda, for direct threats them against other people. And so we'll be assessing for be one of the greatest menace we go hamburging the peace of the country. But for we resilience, for resisting kind thing the way people they try for do so, if we don't create a lot of problems. So quite recently, the security sector will get an engagement with civil society organizations so that we will form an effective pathway for discussions relating to issues of this nature, just so that collectively the security sector and civil society, we all go perform we functions them for the betterment of the majority of the people of Sierra Leone.
So in terms of the issue we state social media as one key problem, especially on the kind of insightful information we can go out there, and you get certain people also we can believe waiting you come out na social media. Apart from engaging the civil society organization, things that we get for do with security, how much on don't engage other parts of them for CC, Office of National Security and the police, they on top of situation. Leone not just explain give the public different view, then the reality is different.
Aside from engaging the public, either using conventional platforms like we talks on a radio, television, etc., we also use the same social media for counter some of the misinformation there. But beyond that one day, we get one-on-one engagement with groupings, whether na market women, whether na bike riders, whether na traders union people, whether na motor drivers union, and so on and so forth. Just so that we go give people the correct information, different from the alternative factor we people in present. In the run-up to the elections, deliberately, the leadership of the security sector, we make conscious efforts for engage the public extensively. And their engagement here not be only limited to waiting to happen at Freetown, we cascade them across the country. We develop, for example, jingles, where we do into 7 local languages and send them across the country. All they talk on various themes and messages relating to peace and security, including the dangers of the misuse of social media. But beyond that one day, we also been get officers them where they go right around, particularly in the western area, rural and urban districts, for talk to people them using microphones, go to markets, go to homes, go to communities, or tell people on the need for let them function within the provisions of the law, and for let them be mindful about the thing that they see on social media, the thing that they kind of social media can appear for be true, but you therefore make conscious effort as an individual for let you actually shifter the lie from the truth. And social media mostly populated by things that we lie. Okay. And so important that as a person we get your Android phone, you cross check, you double sure of what they did, either for share a more, either for also talk about a more, because you might be talking the wrong thing, or for actually go into action based on social media.
Would they continue to look at some of the issues then will they trigger the security threats? But earlier you say Salundi level 1. That means for listeners, them nothing to worry about in terms of security. Is that the case?
So we get what we call worry and concern. We not go say let people worry about security situation currently. Rather we for be concerned. Because something and the way they happen, we get the tendency for the peace and progress of the country.
Quick one at the holiday. Mr. Marano say you don't come for long term, but quick one come to the other security person before we come to your civil society, somebody, and also good governance advocates. I come to the head of police media, we na Brahma Kama ASP. Good morning and welcome. ACP, good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon. Yes, we they look at security issue. You go on to follow the program from where they come from if you could assure. But let we look at from the Salon police standpoint, what's in the current situation?
The country is relatively peaceful. You know, in security terms, you always use the word relatively. Because like how you put say with this level 1, where you will get concerned but not will be worried. It possible to be in a studio, something happen where maybe we go shake the country, so I make you say for now it's relatively peaceful, even though we get some issues. I see we now alluded to the fact say people and the way they do things the way get planned for subvert state and then for undermine the state and for make things not happen. So that one day it just get for be a concern. You understand? Then here and there people still involved in criminality. Like for example, we get people away. This BN10, then while we are in the operation now, for begin tell people say, then get programs for people and travel, and get some people away. I said tell them about travel. You know, for no, you know even the cross check again. They will pump all the money on that side. Not even knowing say we get systems and structures in place. If you want to go oversee now these systems and then structure you have to follow. When we don't put every money 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 60 million, some money go sell property. later you can't now say a fake. So all them kind of things in there. I mean, nothing the way now you concern to we and now you concern to every, it will be a concern to everybody because it's possible say that you person and will fall victim of that kind of situation there. Then remember this helicopter issue come talks here and there. People they say, oh this, but we understand because given the nature of things, people don't begin they relate to some other issues. But honestly, that one day again, one issue where we try for address, and our issue where we try for look into very thoroughly for let the public know say there was nothing of security interest. We inimical to state security. Now just that this particular helicopter left South Africa, he get for going to Greenland, or because now two-seater helicopter, now the pilot and the co-pilot they get for the make stops them along the way, and the route we get for pass one of them a saloon. We for come for refuel, and then we make the right contact, with SLCAA, the Civil Aviation Authority, to make the right contact. But while in the camp, they develop some mechanical problem, and then they get for go to another place, another new area there. But then still inform, if we then did not, they still inform, say we there, and then the police and the Civil Aviation Authority then go there, go rescue them, starship them, nothing of security interest, nothing of police interest. Then therefore fix up the plane for we go for move from that point for Brankana Hastings. And now we do Hastings, and whilst we wait for there, then we set them up and make it continue the journey. So all those kinds of things that happen by way of rumor here and there. So not make we there for there. At least we let the public know say relatively peaceful.
Now, aside from the two security representatives, will they come over to a neutral body when a civil society, Augustine, so he's saying Ben Mara, we an activist and lawyer and also a democracy advocate. Mr. Sengbe, you don't listen to waiting the two security representatives then say in terms of the country in current situation. In any way, you get a contrary view, or are they in line with waiting and say?
I think, to be honest, we're experts in talk. It's difficult for disagree with them. But I think we're not going to look at peace, we're not look at holistically the character of peace. So peace get two character. When they study peace, they say they get what they call positive peace. They also get negative peace. So yes, I agree with them. Say relatively things are very, very peaceful in Sierra Leone. But looking back a year ago, I think it's important that everybody, whether in the security sector or ordinary Sierra Leonean, we pause and reflect on what happened a year ago on August 9 and 10. It's very important. And we not go talk about peace. We not look at waiting also the trigger insecurity in the country. First, we not say we get deep levels of poverty. Inside poverty there is a high tendency of discontentment. People are not happy. Inside unemployment unemployment really high, people would not be happy. So for say that society they go class them as totally peaceful, we get high levels of poverty, high levels of unemployment. With respect, me not go say in a positive peace we get. The experts then go say we get negative peace. Also, we know say during the last general elections, we understand say we get deep-seated division. Some people and they say it's ethnic. Me not agree with them. I think say tribes say intermarriages. We all meet up all in a church and a mosque. Me not think say ethnic division and sharp. But I believe say we get deep political division where not necessarily not make sense to me at all. Then divisions are really steep. So once you get like all this red versus green divide, we don't so become entrenched, don't penetrate with state institutions, again then in a cause for concern.
So in your words, we think the way you don't state, you talk about high level of poverty, unemployment and everything, and some of them are, according to you, the trigger insecurity. In any way, you think say we are halfway from peace or a stable security?
So I'm not say the last peace index we come down a little bit. So not to me no more they say that people the way they assess with peace peace level na the country agree with me say small bits we come down in terms of a peace. And I know that in terms of stability, you say relatively things are stable. But in terms of all length here where I highlight, I agree with the experts from ONS say there are cause for concern. So there are a lot concerning. And we cannot talk about security without address the triggers there. We cannot talk about security without address poverty. Now poverty they make kush gets place for sale. Right? In society people comfortable, they have jobs, they get livelihoods intact. Kush no they get markets. Kush they get markets because we get ready hands and ready minds. We're ready for take on. Because of poverty, because of unemployment, because of all them political division there. Beaucoup people think say we one government stay in power, a lot of other people are excluded from the national cake. So all them here the trigger. If possible say whether SL people or APC they in power, regardless we all go get a piece of the pie, nobody will not get the level of concern that we have. So we cannot talk about stability, we not address or pay attention to all the issues here where I don't highlight. And if we go back to August 10,
okay,
I granted an interview and I disagree with the experts away and say, oh, no, insurrection. I said it's not. Right? The protests were violent, correct, I agree with them. But reach that level, that threshold of insurrection. Not at all. And if you be blind to all the matters that we spark August 10, address them, then there is a tendency for them unfortunate incidents and they recall.
So if some of them here continue, you don't state as challenge of triggering insecurity, what exactly it will lead to?
So it poses a threat to a peace. And I've always said, being a possible advocate for democratic means of unseating a government, go through the ballot. I do not support any coup attempt, any illegal means, any unconstitutional means. I not support them at all. If you think so, you get your points, use your platform. Where elections come, go vote. And if you don't want a regime, vote them out. That is the means how you change a government. You not change a government through coup. You not for change a government through insurrection. You not for change a government through any illegal means. Again, having said that, you also want where people let they go to elections, then cast them votes, then forget the assurance, say then count them votes, then forget the assurance that there's transparency in the electoral process. If people then think say then go cast them votes and not reflect, or the institution were responsible for count votes not be transparent every step of the way, it's also a cause for concern.
So make our holiday quick, and earlier I mentioned, say 1 year back, Salon Bindi into that issue where violence erupted on August from the 9th to the 10th, we cause loss of life, both police and civilians. And this year again, the police don't pull a release. Earlier, August 31, they talk about suspects. But quick one, we they go Usai, the Inspector General of Police, William Fayaselu. Don't confirm say police don't arrest 19 people we then suspect say them want Hamburg national peace and safe plan for change President Bill in government. In talk this inside the Ministry of Information and Civic Education.
Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. We are saying middle level, it range from lieutenant to major. We get 8. We get 6 non-commissioned officers of the Armed Force, NCOs, from private to sergeants category. They will get 2 serving members of the Sierra Leone Police, 1 sub-inspector and 1 police constable. Then we get also, as recently as this morning, 1 retired chief superintendent of police in our custody for this investigation. Alongside all them Whilst we get 2 civilians with themselves, they help me for this.
But the 19 people, according to William Faya Selu, not tap they, as he say, then still they look for some people who don't run away.
As we investigate, we find out say we still don't put out a manhunt for a couple of people more, and that include 5 house staff personnel. Out of that 5, 2 are middle-level officers, then 3 are non-commissioned officers. Then on the police side, we look for 3 Sierra police personnel, 1 sub-inspector and 2 police constables.
But how they know say them people here want undermine state security and self-change President Bill in government? Now one question where I put to William Faya Selu, where according to them, now evidence then get, but not be explained this evidence.
Well, for answer the question, which are the articles for arrest people for the subversion, now evidence. I think I said no incidents of evidence document. So now evidence, not one person for that. So that's clear. No incidents of evidence qualified. So that is the status of that investigation. So as of now, we continue the investigation and anything can happen.
For sake of all this, the police IG say they don't give strength to security, na border crossing them for prevent anything where people don't plan.
We don't beef up the border security post, them, the border patrols, we don't beef them up, we don't increase that by a huge margin. Constantly we are doing patrols, the military and the police along the borders, we don't do that. And of course, the posture across the board, across the country, we don't change the posture because of what you look at. Now we're taking off guard, so we don't change the posture regularly. Additionally, we don't step up the intelligence collection outfits. We don't deploy a lot of assets out there, not only policemen, but even civilians. We don't bring them on board for bribery.
Waiting at the name of the people where they arrest as rumor, don't they point say plenty pandem in one region then come out. But according to the IG, he asked the public for patience with them as they still they do the investigation and they go make the public know some pandem here and still inside security issue as the ECOWAS bloc don't pull warning for make the Niger soldier them and over power back to the civilian government after when they be done overthrow the president in that country when Mohamed Bazoum, where ECOWAS been take stand through the chairman Ahmed Bola Tinubu, president for Nigeria, say they go use force inside Niger, make the media be asked about Salon position for sake of ECOWAS stand. But this according to the Minister for Information and Civic Education, Chernoba, Salon na member of ECOWAS and serve they in line with ECOWAS actions them. So he say any decision where ECOWAS take, Salon the supports. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Musa Kamara, the reports.
Well, at this time, we bring in the representative from the Salon Police, when our ACP Brahima Kamara. Mr. Kamara, in terms of the July 31st, 2023 press release we on a poll, a lot of things the public need for know because this press release state a very sensitive information. Also on a state say on a don't make arrest of some certain people. You can take we listen and view them through this particular press release and the content of them and wait really trigger the police for let we get the kind news here.
Well, basically, if I summarize the press release, we try for let the public know say some people in the place do some other things and we get the potential for bringing the state down. Because we talk about the state, the one normal one of the state. Now we are in UCSF waking the money, me waking the money, we all can do, we work them, school they run, things they run, business they run, everybody to go about the business. But then government safe, they operate and they for do the things they wouldn't say they will do. So we are in now you get a situation where somebody they can bring instability. We try for change government, they try for make sure the government will operate. Now that make the people last statement say we do this investigation and we'll come back to the public and inform them. And then we don't take one step further. The IGP don't explain say we don't do some arrest and the investigation still on. Where even when we still put out information, we put out limited information until we reach to the very end. Because if we not do that one day, there is a possibility, say, if we wait 3 days, we're not going to succeed. And if we talk about peace, like my brother, the lawyer, they make reference to negative and positive peace. If one for each other side, now we allow for get thorough investigation. We are part of the processes of the criminal justice system. Get thorough investigation, so that at the end of the day, whatever we take to the court, if we take to the court, then we get the required evidence for make sure we're able to prove them. Otherwise, we're not going to do the investigation, and if we do the investigation, we take matters to court, we not get the required evidence, and for that we can't go there, because then we still get for acquit and discharge whoever they will acquit and discharge. So I make we very, very careful. Not so they release information small. So by Thursday again, we will get another press conference in our police headquarters. I should say further steps we don't take. We will also inform the public, which we don't do.
When you look at discussion at the public, plenty would regard them as attempted coup. And even when international media, they report them, they go say attempted coup. But the Salone police, they use subversion. What are the difference between the two?
You know, not those semantics. Somebody use this one, somebody use that one day. But the fact of the matter is, where you try to undermine the one of the state. Understand? That's not subversion.
Is that the same as coup?
They undermine the one of the state. And other person will say, hey, well, you want for change government, it's not a coup. You understand? So like I said, semantics, but we will be very careful, because you not just throw words here and there within the security sector. You throw words here and there. So then we start from that point of subversion, understand? Then we will move forward. If we reach at that point where we go say, because no two words are the same. Then we will do linguistics, we tell you say, no two words are exactly the same. They must get some small differences. So for now, we are at the stage where we talk about subversion. At that stage where we will finally use the word where maybe we'll say treason or whatever, we will still come there.
So with such state threat to the country, insecurity, in any way people forget a fear for, say, maybe all is not well to the country in stable peace?
What I may allude to two words.
No, this particular issue on this press release also don't make a statement of arrest of certain people. This for trigger fear in people.
I say, no, we not let people in fear.
Why?
Let people know say we are in control, we are in charge. Otherwise, if we're not in charge, we're not in control, you wouldn't have known what ever happened.
But why the attempt?
You wake up in the morning. No, the attempt, me not responsible, neither you responsible for waiting the other person to do. Understand? I'm responsible for your actions. Understand? So you know, we say why they attempt. Now they for ask why they make this.
So
attempt.
The question is the attempt. So why una say don't such attempt happen? Not from them, but una giving them the space, or why even such thing for happen if una really they in charge and control as a state.
You know to me they go sleep. Not to say not to me they can't. Not to me. So what you the plan of your mind, I don't know. But the fact remains, because we get the right structures in place, that make we able for nipper in the board. Otherwise, some other things will happen. But we get the right structures in place, that make we able for detect them. We detect them. We don't follow up on. Understand? We come to the public now because we don't reach at a point where we need to inform the public.
So now we look at the issue of not identifying the names of them people are missed allegations that they are from one region. Why the police hold on to the names of the people then?
We don't prejudice investigation. You don't get the right to access information Act 2013. I should say section 16 up to 26. One of the exempt clauses get for do with the police to conduct investigations. If you get the tendency for prejudice investigation, then you have to be very careful. But otherwise, you are alleging, and if you are alleging, you get for proof. My brother is here, he will tell you, say you alleges must prove. So if now we allege, we have to be careful so that allegations we make, we at the end of the day, we want the required fact we will convert to evidence in a court. We have to make sure say the means by which they gather them. We not do them in a way. At the end of the day, we not even forget them.
Plenty question where people they ask now. What have been the yardstick where the police use for arrive at conclusion? Say yes, then people they want to do subversion.
Every offense get elements.
So that's the elements. What are some of the elements?
Elements. I know this is not a law school today for coming here explain about elements, but every offense get elements. Understand? Those are the elements they look, and those are the elements where they tell you say, well, this for a start, this is what we are investigating. Are you the progress in the investigation? The more you unravel more things, the more you unravel more facts, then you now say, by this offense, say for example, you look at an offense of larceny. They say larceny is where a person steals who, without the consent of the owner, fraudulently and without a claim of right, made in good faith, takes and carries away anything capable of being stolen, and with the intent at the time of taking to deprive the owner permanently of his property. Then now you look at the fact where you get. You look at how you the partition and say, oh, it's a larceny.
So you take Queen law school, but I basically ask, what are some of the evidence then we did?
We cannot put everything on the table here, my brother. We are doing an investigation.
So much. If it is
just allow law to do these things small.
ASP.
How would they give you the information in small? Then you will get it in small.
ACP, the way and manner how una can give out information to the public. Now, one way people can really concern, but una they already object on social media, but mostly una release them can come through the form of social media. Why is it that una not can fair way engage the public early rather than giving room for speech?
The better it will be for the betterment of this country. Rights of people and any liberal democracy are one way recognized by law. But the same rights with the law recognize and give people them, they equally get responsibilities to their rights and they. And say every right they go with responsibilities. But in we context over the period, I don't see that most often than not they have more on the rights and talk less about the responsibilities we people get. The August 10th incident of 2022 don't be recorded as one of the darkest things that will happen to this country. And that one may be happen as a result of people wanting to do things outside of the law. The calls leading to the August 10th demonstrations will be make the rounds on social media again. Now be one the way from the very onset, they're violent in character and nature. Say on the 10th, on this and that kind of thing, and this we plan for do. You will not agree with we will do this kind of thing to you. No sane society no go sit back and allow that one day for happen. I mean, the laws on demonstrations are very clear. The 1965 Public Order Act. They say if what you want for going to demonstrations, even for talk that one, it means it recognize the right for demonstrations. But now this you for do. Now then steps say you for take as a person also or as a group for let you actualize the rights and day. If you now say I know they do that one day, they function outside of the law. Especially so, we can understand some demonstrations and can be spontaneous. But if it's spontaneous and it's peaceful, you are home and dry. If it's spontaneous, then it's violent, then we will be tied you. Because the very law back where I don't mention, Section 12 of the 1965 Public Order Act say, if you go to a public place and do mischief, whether you undermine the peace or the quietness of that community there, whether in a courtyard or a street and that kind of thing, if they commit an offense for which they can arrest.
So, Will, me question is, now, most of the 19 people who they mention are people within the force who not the coordinate security issue, who not don't in any way ask questions, what will lead to some of the issues here with people within the force, police?
The aspect of disagreement between or among groupings. Now, one way accepted, but that disagreement enough for degenerates to the point of subverting the state.
I ask you these questions because some time back we see a civil society where na Chadi, where na Development International or so human rights body, when Abdul Fatoma been come with some concerns them where is
Continue for day with we Abdul Karim Will, Deputy Director Strategic Communication ONS, as today inside the program we look inside the current security issue them in the country.
And we just listen a report we say the IG confirms they don't arrest 19 people, where 17 of them then are police or na the army. As somebody when a human rights advocate, what are some of the things that you think they go lead the country to then some of the assumptions then also?
I think it's very important that the police come out to the public concerning the investigation. Kudos to them. But also I want to mention, say, the details way out to the public, very sketchy now, very incomplete. But also you get to understand with people already investigate, they can't give all information. because you dey look at evidence, you dey assess evidence. But also, one other concern na that whoever dey investigate in this world, Alexef na the highest offense when na treason, you forget access to lawyer. I say this because one panel people that were involved and family reach out to me, take 2 days for see one party top military person. I know say I talked to the head of CID at some point. 2 days I know you see to this point. So I know say whilst the police and the army they conduct an investigation, the rights of them people then they're not dissolved. They're not lost their rights then while they investigate them. They forget access to the lawyers. They forget access to legal representation. If you're able to talk to the lawyers there, right? One of the things that we can always credit institution at ACC, they go always ensure say before they take statements, then they even wait for your lawyer. Say call your lawyer, we can even wait. We can even postpone statement taking. So somehow, somewhat, I mean, as as senior, relatively senior as I am, as a lawyer, don't try process here in na court. We then raise that concern. They say there was limited access to this certain individual in Liberia with Salome in the trial for extradite. Where I understand say even where the Human Rights Commission in Liberia being object to the extradition request by Sierra Leone, even when I think then they entertain the application for stop the extradition, already Liberia be not hand over this person to Salome. So all of them here put together, again for make the point say when they investigate you not lost your rights. Because at the end of the day, ACP Kamara go agree with me, they can investigate you and say we not get evidence go now also.
Okay.
But if you not get access to a lawyer, you don't waste the person in time, so you don't starve them. So you not get gear good side for sleep, not get good clothing. You can't release and now go now also time. You don't seek mentally, not that stable state of mind anymore. So that make it important under the constitution, then give right to everybody for any kind of crime we commit.
Okay.
You forget adequate access to legal representation. The constitution not just say legal representation, it say adequate. So then for give you time for let you talk to your lawyer, for let you they wait for your lawyer, for talk to your lawyer, etc. etc. Right? So investigation where they do in secrecy, they offend the constitution.
Okay.
We not say waiting they allege really in a high crime. Like I said, me not in support of anybody way involved in any attempted coup or subversion. But until you get to that point where courts prove say this person involved in treason, attempted coup, that person they forget every right under the constitution.
Okay.
So that make the possible that extradite kind of Salome, the one the way they now both civilians and security personnel, they should be given adequate access to legal representation. Nowadays we get legal aid. So if you never able to pay lawyer, the police and the army for call legal aid and say we get some personnel or some civilian we're not able to afford lawyer. Can you please provide lawyers for them before begin interview them, before begin talk to them? Then forget the lawyers them seated.
Augustine Mara continue for the week. We name na Augustine Mara, in an activist and lawyer and also a democracy advocate. And again, on point as today we dey look at the current security situation at the country. And inside the program now, we dey go to Studio 2 and listen to Walkabout.
Another morning again. I say, Wednesday, I say Wednesday. I say, the kind of a thing that Wednesday, I say we much knowable talk mine. Now that one day, we the much, now the national mighty, anytime we say the same. Must not say plenty thing and why no one for talk about. I say go morning, oh, are you morning? I say how do you so bad? I say say me not able to witness the last election. So I not be even there. The time where you go check you out. And now I want for say congratulations. Oh yes, but God, this now your last term. Now you final term. And at this time, your name go left or now this time we go sweep your name go. Hey, now for the watch, oh, now for the watch. If you no able watch left all the watch give me because I don't see some people Paul we don't drive some people. The new one there and they keep meeting with the old one there. Now I say, this bad blood in the inside. I say, God, I go scatter the name to you soon. I say, we are moved there. I say, nothing other than this country where person not go see mine. I say, na me dey listen use. Na ye that baba dey talk say, in auto in decision, in of one do how, na prime and in throat, na scholar we make even sign document, but they no go able come. Now laugh. Now me titi they say, Daddy, you say what you do laugh. Now I say, I say this boy for don't talking true. Now I say what not the true. Say the hunger is very, very hard and the gun is very, very dry. Hey, I be no. But again, you know go elect political party pass to country anywhere it be. From the thing way, me never. Then they say CPA una get correct and accurate thing them for look into as a country. But self una let all come together and solve like one people. Hey. When we dey talk for something like one people, I remember na me never dem want dey say, never dey tell me say, Daddy Wakabot, this una Oshia una dey so, that you never there, you no believe say, the bird and the pigeon and they get issue, say resignation, then they come out from the pigeon, they say then they go inside, then they go again, I say no. I say no, I say no matter what thing don't happen, bird na bird, pigeon na pigeon, but them you all dey live one side mine. I say no matter what matter, the only thing wey matter, institution like country, big pass all thing. Me na the honorable Wakabot.
Well, from the Wakabot, we can studio again and join with studio guest them. I come to Head of Police Media, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Brahma Kamara. And earlier, before we go for them break, Surisen Bemara, we don't lose concern, but lack of access. And this na complaint we don't complain from the public. Why police restricting access?
I don't want to ask a question like why. Go say why you always don't conclude.
Unless you want to say waiting Surisen Bemara say is not true.
Sometimes you say you get the 5 W's and the H in terms of question.
Media. So, there is no way na me they ask the questions.
Yes, I just respond.
And
I
this
want to say the concerns raised, they are legitimate. We will take them on board, and I will go and try for talk with the relevant authorities. But those are concerns. We are aware of Section 23, subsection 4 of the Constitution, where they presume everybody innocent until the court find guilty of that offense. We are aware of that one. So we will take those concerns on board and we will work on them appropriately. Okay,
plenty thank you for...
Before you left, we quickly, Musa, before you go, go come here, talk about one important issue. It don't be public concern for everybody, the issue of Kush. I mean, Mr. Mara highlights that they didn't want concern about such something. We don't
very much concerned because one, we always don't say the future of this country is in the hands of the youth, and so if they mess themselves up at this time, we all not going to be happy because it's like when we don't phase out, we know people who can take after it because in terms of their health, in terms of development, in terms of contributing to the state. We don't get that kind of people in there. So that make we work 24 hours around the clock for make sure say, well, you know, the difficult side of it, we own job, now arrest the man, detain the man, investigate the man, and go prosecute the man. We don't want to steal, you know, the aid for stopper. So they say we call on every other person, the parent, because parenting is very key when it comes to even this to work business. The parent, the one in our society where we call opinion leaders, the civil society, the press, then we all come together collectively.
Okay.
Okay.
Plenty thank you for joining me inside the program. In the head of police media, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Brahima Kamara. Plenty thank you for joining me inside the program. And we come to Will quickly, and you don't get the discussions, but earlier I asked you about the concerns addressing mechanism within the forces them. If you talk about to the saloon police, then we raise concern about the way they buy uniform. If you even look at the police, you go see 5 police perhaps na different uniforms, then they get a plenty impersonation into the forces. These now concerns them way don't they come from them forces then they what thing they do for address them in terms of giving strength to security?
So like I say, this I will repeat them again, that a mechanisms and they within the security sector who say then kind concerns here to be channeled as long as we reach the appropriate authorities, and if now one we also fall within we own remit, now one will be given the most adequate attention. But this always give me so a very new one. We will use them as
but you see the impersonation into the police every time you see somebody so police uniform.
So we don't now get anything for do with the police leadership. Now the people the way they do their impersonation and they.
But they see the police and get they see the police
effectively as individuals, as groupings, at the governance level. We all don't make several efforts for the who say we did so.
Okay.
And the reason we make Salone in recent rankings we did number 1. In terms of the most peaceful country now, the sub-region.
Okay.
Third, now West Africa. And about 45 in the world. That's not a mean achievement at all. So we get for work for now, we maintain that kind of thing. And recently also a survey state say, we are one of the countries we don't go into war, we don't escape the relapse into conflict trap. 20 years after a war, we don't see signs of that one. So we'll get for work for maintain that one day.
Okay, plenty thank you to you, Abdul Karim Will from ONS and the Deputy Director, Strategic Communication Office of National Security. Over to you, Augustine Mara. We know the things that we state security them for continue for do for ensure say peace and security always day and tap for do the thing the way they trigger issues that we go lead to the political division and other one the way I highlight.
I think say very quickly the security sector therefore be proactive. I think Musa make this point about it's very, very concerning that you get senior security personnel and suspect say they're involved in subversion activities. So that's very, very concerning. It means say boku issues in the brew within the security forces and they not get redress mechanism. Because soldier man and girls who side and they go lay complain, they not victimize them. Police and girls side they lay complain, they not victimize them. Then they can able for help address the concerns. But who side them bottle them, they not get any outlets. Waiting they resort to now for think about undemocratic means of toppling government. So I think say the security forces therefore be proactive, therefore identify them problems and then therefore address them before they reach very alarming level. And I like the point we make about Kush, for example. And I think say the police, instead of then turn around and say, oh, waiting parents and they do, make sure say Kush not can at this country.
Okay.
And make sure say we close the border in such a manner that Kush not go come. Now we come, now you go get market. Right? So all them things here again, me points under the security sector therefore be proactive. Because waiting now they do, we react to waiting happen.
Okay.
If you are being proactive, you just stop all them unfortunate incidents here where they cause concern for insecurity.
Plenty thank you for joining me inside the program. Suri Sengbe Mara, a lawyer, a human rights activist and democracy advocate. And also inside the program we been get head of police media, assistant commissioner of police, Brahima Kamara, and also Abdul Karim Will from the Office of National Security.